After spending about a year and a half working through the Odin Project, I can finally answer the question, what does it actually teach you? During that time, I built dozens of projects and eventually I created LuckyDefenseGuides.com, a full stack website that's now received over 700,000 views. In this video, I want to break down what the Odin Project actually teaches you and what it prepares you for in the real world. Before starting the Odin Project, I already had some development experience. I had worked professionally building database systems using a platform called FileMaker. I have earned a C# certification through a Microsoft and Free Code Camps course. I published an Android app to the Play Store at one point. And then growing up, I also spent a lot of time making small games, nothing I still have, using something called Game Maker Studio. So when I started the Odin Project, I wasn't going in completely blind, but FileMaker is a low-code system, so I wasn't an experienced developer, truly. I wanted to transition into a modern web development role despite that, and learn the full stack in a more structured way. I also want to mention that during the year and a half that it took for me to complete the Odin Project, I worked on it full-time for about 6 months of that. The rest of that, it was part-time while I was working full-time. So, what does the Odin Project actually teach? The curriculum focuses on teaching you the tools and technologies used in real web development environments. Along the way, you learn things like Git and GitHub for version control, Linux development environments, HTML and CSS for building websites, JavaScript for application logic, responsive design, APIs, and asynchronous programming, and more. Later in the curriculum, you learn more modern front-end development with things like React, and back-end development using Node.js and Express. It also introduces databases and full-stack architecture, so it gets a little bit more specialized, a little bit more advanced. Across the entire curriculum, I probably built around 28 to 35. It's a big range, but somewhere between 28 and 35 different projects. Some of them were smaller exercises and others were more complete applications. But the biggest project that I worked on during this time, it actually wasn't an official Odin Project assignment. My biggest project was a website called LuckyDefenseGuides.com. The site originally started as a very simple static page that I built during the foundations section of the Odin Project. At the time, it was just a small website guide thing for a mobile game. But as I progressed through the curriculum, learned more concepts, I kept expanding on the site and improving it. Eventually, I decided to completely rebuild the site as a full stack application. The front end is built using React. The back end uses Node, Express, PostgreSQL, and Prisma. I also built a custom CMS system that allows content to be written directly through the site's editor. I also integrated Amazon S3 to store and serve images and other media that might be used by the site. But building that project, it forced me to apply a lot of the concepts that the Odin Project teaches in a real environment. But the Odin Project didn't just affect my development skills, it also ended up changing a lot of my hobbies and the way that I interact with my computer. Part of the curriculum has you set up a Linux development environment using Ubuntu. And the program discourages using other operating systems. They have a good reason for this, because having everyone on the same environment makes it easier for the community to help when people do run into issues. I didn't run into any issues myself, not issues related to operating system. So after using Ubuntu for a while, and I really loved it. I loved Ubuntu. I thought it was really cool. Every time I booted up into Windows after that, I just wanted to turn it off, boot it back up, switch to Ubuntu. So I became really curious about the Linux ecosystem in general. Eventually, I started exploring other setups, and I installed something called Omarchy. I probably heard about it on the Primogen. It's pretty cool. It uses a tiling window manager called Hyperland. I also ended up switching to a split ergonomic keyboard called the Ergodox EZ, which is super sick. And eventually I just stopped using Windows entirely. And now I just run Linux full time. I'm still on Omarchy. I think it's awesome. love the split keyboard. And these are things that I just wouldn't have gotten into if I hadn't done the Odin Project. So in a lot of ways, the Odin Project didn't just teach me web development. It kind of completely changed the way that I use my computer, what hobbies I have. It had a pretty big impact. But after finishing the Odin Project, what can I actually do now? The biggest thing that the program gave me is the ability to build full stack web applications from scratch. I can design a front end, build a back end API, connect it to a database, deploy it, and maintain it over time. And I can do this from scratch. I don't need an AI to help me. I don't need an LLM. It also taught me how to keep learning new tools and technologies on my own. It taught me how to read documentation. And I'm not anti-AI. Maybe I'm a little anti-AI, but I really can't oversell how good of a skill it is to be able to read documentation and learn things from the documentation. YouTube videos are good as well when it comes to data structures. I find like things that are good to visualize, but documentation is king. AI, you want to use that as a way that you can enhance what you're doing, in my opinion. That's the opinion I've come to, at least after having gone through this curriculum. So as a summary, the Odin Project isn't a short boot camp. Like I said, it took me about 1.5 years to work through it. To be fair, part of that was me working on my guide website, but also for 6 months of that, I was doing it full time, like 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. So, take that with a grain of salt. Some people do it faster than me. Some take much longer than I took. But if you stick with it, by the time that you finish, you're going to have built a lot of projects. You'll have learned the core technologies used in modern web development, and you're going to be in a position where you can continue building larger and more complex applications on your own. I have not gotten a job yet in web development. I had this thing where I wanted to be good enough before I wasted people's time doing applications. So I think I'm there now. I am applying, reaching out to people on LinkedIn, filling out lots of applications not just on LinkedIn. I think if you are going to do that, you want to apply everywhere. Looking into where I can improve beyond the Odin Project. One of the things that I think I need to utilize more is I don't use AI a whole lot. I think I could maybe stand to use that. But the Odin Project, great course, great curriculum. If you want to really learn how to be a good developer, even if it's not specifically web development, I think you would be hard pressed to find something that covers the fundamentals as good as the Odin Project. I didn't even cover everything that the Odin Project covers. It took me 1.5 years, and there's a big reason for that. There's just so much content that it covers. By the end of it, you're going to feel like a real developer. You're not going to feel like, oh, I'm definitely going to get a job. You're not going to feel that confident, but you probably would feel like if you got hired that you're ready to do the job. So if you want to learn web development and you're looking for a course and you're wondering, is the Odin Project the right move for me? It's not for everyone, but if you have a lot of self-discipline, the Odin Project is the best way to do it.